Alright, so got this 2011 Ford F550 Super Duty, and the horn does not work. So when you push the old horn actuator button, it does not toot. So I'm trying to figure out what the problem is. Could be a bunch of things. It's computer controlled, not just one wire like they used to be. So one thing we can do, make sure the horn actually works. So on a scan tool, go on a body control module, active tests, wait a couple of momentos. Horn output, so cancel. Okay, horn works. Heard it work. It says inactive. I get it. Active. So horn works. I don't need this anymore because there are no other options to do anything with the horn at all on the scan tool. So here is a wiring diagram. Let's look at it. I will put a better image than what I got in the video. I'll do it right now. Okay, so there you go. So the way this works is we got a ground comes up, goes through the clock spring, around town to the horn switch, which is the big old clicker switch there. And it comes out of the switch, back through the clock spring, into the steering control module, out of the steering control module, into the body control module. Now the body control module has a non-serviceable relay inside it that actuates the horn. The horn is run off a fuse F22, 20 amp fuse into the relay, and then the steering column control module grounds the relay. Solenoid, which closes the terminals, and then it runs over here out to the horn and supplies power, and the horn has a constant ground. So that's how that works. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of checks here. Now this, I'm going to put you. Put you right there. Ish. So this is a pain to get off. You got to get in there and pry these little tabs off. There's 3 of them, one on the bottom, 2 on the sides. You get in there and you pry them up or towards the center, and then kind of pull it out. So anyway, be careful, it doesn't explode in your face. Follow all airbag safety protocol while touching your airbag. Make sure you discharge any electrical shock so you don't statically actuate it. Alright, so on the back of the horn switch here, got this red button. Don't mess around with the yellow one, because the yellow one over here is for your airbag. So anywho, yeah, I would say make sure it's going to be really difficult to perform these tests without the batteries hooked up, but they say make sure you disconnect your batteries, ground them out, remove any static discharge from yourself, and then remove the airbag. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it on, you take it off, do as I say, not as I do, because you don't want to blow yourself up. So anyway, so this red switch here, or red plug here, is for the contacts. See the little contacts right there? That is what actuates your horn. There's one in every corner, like that. So basically all those do, you're going to jump those together to make sure that you don't have a problem with your horn button. So the ground comes in on this green with the orange stripe on there, and the signal goes out on the blue with the black stripe. So what I did I juggled everything around like so. Sticking a camera in there is kind of hard. Sorry, but anyway. So I took my multimeter, came over here. You won't be able to see it, but I put it on continuity with the beeper on. I went in here onto the two wires on the switch there, and I squeezed the horn button. Make sure that works. So that works. So the second thing I did was I turned it on voltage, and I went off of this green with the orange stripe, and then I went into the cigarette lighter hole. I checked for a ground. So I went from the positive on the cigarette lighter to the negative on the horn button, and I got 12.4 volts. So that tells me I have my ground to my switch here. Okay. So I'm done messing around with this horn part. We know that the horn button works, and we know we got ground going through it. So I'm gonna come over here, to the back of the horn switch. So on it, let me bring up the wiring diagram. Here's the wiring diagram. So what we did was we made sure that everything works from the ground side all the way up through the clock spring, through the horn switch, and we are right here. We haven't gone back through the clock spring, so we're right there at the horn switch. It doesn't tell me which wire comes out, so I'm not exactly sure which one comes out. It says 1, but there's no wire in the number 1 plug, so I don't know which one it is, and I don't want to really do too much hokey pokey because the wires, I believe that yellow with the green and that purple one, I'm pretty sure that those are for the airbag. The black one on the left is you probably can't see, but the black one on the left is the ground, so you really only got 3 wires left. You got a purple or something, looks like maybe purple and white, maybe a white and a black and the green. So that's what you got coming out. I'm willing to bet it's probably some type of CAN system or something of that nature, so I don't know if you're going to actually get like a signal out of it. So I'm not even gonna mess around with that, because we already know it's good into the clock spring. So what it does is it comes out of the clock spring into the steering column control module, and it comes out of the steering column control module to the body control module. So we see here that we already have our positive to the relay, so what we're missing is our negative. So right here we got a violet and green, and it is pin 8 coming out of the steering column control module. So over here is the plug. I don't know if you can see. Right there, that's the plug for the steering column control module. I had to unplug it. There's numbers all on this side where the wires are to tell you which one it is. There are 2 violet and greens in there. One is on the back side at the top, and one is on the front side in the middle. The one on the front side in the middle, where this wire is the right one. It's pin 8. So what I did was I stuck a piece of wire in there. It's like a jumper wire in there, and you can do this on your own accord. Don't be nervous about it, I guess. Let me get the door open. So I got that in that wire hole. So what I did was, first I used a test light, and then I just hooked it to ground here, just on the column, and I tried to I don't know if you can see, but I'm getting, so there's power on it, which is the power going through the horn relay, or the solenoid. So power comes through there, and it's just basically dead end in here. So what it's looking for is a ground. So what I did was I just touched this to ground to make sure it works. So what I did was I held that in there, make sure it doesn't touch anything else, and I just took the wire and I went around on the bottom of the column and hit the ground. So I gave it a ground. So what our problem is the steering column control module is not functioning. It's receiving the input from the horn, but it's not horning, if that's a word. I don't know. So like I say, the body control module is fine. It's the steering column control module, and I guess it's basically this whole pack here. It does need to be programmed, so it's not something I'm going to be able to do because I can't program it. So one of two things. I'm either going to have that replaced. I'm having another issue where the buttons on the wheel aren't working either, so I'm pretty sure that's probably part of the same problem, and it's just spreading. So it started with the horn a little while ago, and it's just kind of spreading to the other components. So obviously a horn's necessary for inspection. I may put a button in just for inspection. I'll have to talk with people in charge, ask them what they want me to do. And I do not believe that this is very cheap. I don't have a price on it, but anyway, so that's how you figure out why your horn's not working. If you were missing any of these other components that are in the wiring diagram, like if you're missing your ground and you didn't have a ground in there, obviously you're not going to get the horn working because you're not passing the signal along to the other modules. So by grounding this wire here, we prove that the wiring from the steering wheel control module is good up to the body control module and out to the horn, so that all works. We tested everything before the steering wheel control module, and all that works. So the only thing left is the steering wheel control module. So anyway, this is for 2012. I think it's old. It changes with as the years go on. The modules, the pinouts are a little bit different. So anyway, hope that can help somebody. If not, let me know what I did wrong, and I thank you for watching.